If you were starting out on a great adventure, it would just make sense to choose your path carefully, right? Meditation is a great adventure, so it makes sense to choose your path carefully when you start out. If you do, you'll have a fulfilling journey, no doubt about it. But if you don't give your path careful thought, you'll probably give up in frustration. And no one wants that. I'm Jeffrey. I run a meditation school called Finding Ground. I've been practicing and teaching meditation for more than 30 years. And after working with 1,000 students, I've seen it all. Meditation systems are ancient and there are lots of them. Some styles are relevant and well matched to your life, but others will feel like you're taking up a ritual from another culture. And among all the styles on offer, there are two primary differences that you need to know up front. One of these will probably fit into your life more easily, and the other probably won't. Which one is best for you? We'll find out now. If you're new on this path and want to understand the ins and outs of taking up meditation, my videos will help you do that. But you can also reach out through the link below and let me send you my Meditation 101, a free 6-day email course that will give you all the insight you need. Link in the description. It all comes down to making a good decision as early on as you can. If you began a style of meditation that started to feel incompatible, no worries, you have options. You just want to make a smart choice and get going on your amazing journey. And that comes down to not making a bad choice, but making a great choice. Making a bad choice is easy. As with anything, you can make great choices that will serve you well for years, and you can make bad choices that lead you into years of regret and frustration. I made both of these choices. First a bad choice, and then a great choice. But if I hadn't had someone to help me shift my path to a style of meditation better suited for me, I would have given up long ago. And knowing what I know now, that would have been terrible, because my meditation practice is the greatest thing in my life. Well, beside my wife. How bad choices are made. Impatience. The easiest way to make a bad choice is to pick the low-hanging fruit at the front of the orchard. The low-hanging fruit is the stuff that's right there without you even having to reach. You have to ask, why is it right here in front of me? It's low-hanging fruit because it's being marketed to you relentlessly. Somebody wants you to choose this fruit before you look any further. They want you to think this is your one and only choice. And some people fall for that trick, which is why they keep marketing that way. If you don't look at anything other than what's right in front of your face, you end up choosing whatever marketers put there. They know that if you look past their offering, you'll see there are much better options. But you are probably not their easiest target because you aren't so gullible. When you fall for the marketing of quick and easy, you miss out on the good stuff. There's no sense of journey or quest or discovery, just a decision made out of convenience. And that is how you make a bad choice. I know of nothing marketed that way that's truly worth your time. If it were, people like me, we'd be doing their stuff, but we aren't. Remember, meditation is a great adventure. Give it your all. How good choice is made. Connection. The easiest way to make a great choice is to slow down and appreciate that meditation is going to add a lot to your life. Meditation will turn a confused life into a clear life, a depressed life into a joyous life, a timid life into a courageous life. Above all, it gives your life meaning you never knew was possible. Again, if this is all new to you, you might want to flesh things out a bit with my Meditation 101 course. I'll send you it for free from the link below. The 2 paths you can walk. There are 2 types of meditation paths in this world, and they're quite different. To a beginner, everything looks the same, but 1 year in, and you'll be doing something very different on one path than you will be on the other path. So it's good to understand the 2 sets of instructions that you'll encounter. They each have a 1,000-year-long track record, and they're both alive and well. I've done them both, and I've taught them both, and I have a good sense of what they're like. They're both great, but they're not the same. And after many years of involvement, I have a preference. The first style we'll talk about is the most popular. It's the most well-marketed. And if you've already started meditation, it's almost a given that you learn from this style. It's gotten to the point where your company might have hired someone to come in and teach the workforce as a human resources strategy. It's that popular. This is the style based on training the mind. The word you've heard a million times for this is mindfulness. I have a video on mindfulness if you want to learn more. It's linked in the description. This training system comes from a strict culture of monastic life. It dates back nearly 3,000 years and is deeply tied to how one can live to have a peaceful, meaningful life. Meditation is one part of that world, and so are teachings on morality. It's imbued with a traditional Asian conservative feeling, which some people love. It's wholesome. The main tradition associated with this is called Theravada, and modern presentations of this include insight meditation and vipassana. You can find this everywhere. It's all over the world. It's probably in a city near you. The meditation part of this tradition is all about something that you do, or more specifically, it's about learning to train one part of the mind called mindfulness against other parts of the mind, such as emotion and opinion, laziness, attachment, and irrationality. You build the muscle of mindfulness by opposing the competing factors of distraction, and eventually, mindfulness wins. Of course, that's a great thing, but it's a labor. You're always working toward being mindful. Now, in a traditional context, this had all the support of a culture that values mindfulness. And within those cultures, the most supported environment of all is the world of monks and nuns who have no family, no job, no money, no worldly ambitions. They make a decision to cultivate mindfulness exclusively, and their culture supports them in that. It's seen as a noble thing to do. Our culture does nothing of the sort. You aren't going to find lots of support in our culture for your meditation practice, so you have to understand the additional challenge that can bring. Our culture promotes distraction, and that makes mindfulness more difficult. The most impactful thing you can do on this front is connect with other like-minded people who also practice and study meditation. That's always been the recommendation, and it still is. Mindfulness is basic and simple. It gives you something challenging to do that builds the muscles of your mind tangibly, and it can lead to liberation from suffering when you pair it with insight later on in your practice. But it's hard work, and it's a specific kind of hard work. It goes directly against the grain of all your habits in a cold turkey way. Habits push you in one direction, and your mindfulness practice pushes against them in the other direction. It's a very proactive approach, and eventually it overpowers bad habits by building strength and immovability through effort. That effort is where a lot of people just nope out after a few months. It's so overwhelmingly different. It's even opposite of everything you've ever done that if you aren't the type that loves that, it's going to become claustrophobic. And if it does, chances are pretty good that you'll find reasons not to meditate until one day you no longer even think about it. So mindfulness is powerful and authentic, but it was built in a world very different from ours, and making adjustments to fit it into your life is part of the practice. You can try to lead an active life, be involved in lots of social and artistic things while practicing mindfulness, but for many, it doesn't play nice with the richness of a modern life, and that's one reason so many people have found the second tradition to work better. The second tradition is very different from the first, but it started at the same time and place as the first, which would be in India around 2,000 years ago. Later, it was absorbed by Tibetan meditators, and that's where it survived. The main styles of meditation using this approach are called Mahamudra and Dzogchen, and this is the style I teach in my Finding Ground meditation courses. Now, I'll say right off the bat that much of the world believes this to be the gold standard of meditation. I can talk more about that another time. It's just worth your consideration. It was a revolutionary approach even 1,000 years ago, and for anyone who's already practiced mindfulness, it can seem like a total system upgrade. Awareness practice fits into a modern lifestyle more elegantly because it doesn't involve the same type of hard work to reroute your habits. That said, it does reroute your habits, but this happens organically, almost in the background rather than through direct manual labor. How? Well, the primary technique of awareness meditation is relaxation. It isn't as concerned with concentration or focus as mindfulness is. Awareness uses relaxation to bring us one layer deeper than our thinking mind, and from there, we let the transformations begin through even further relaxation. But it's a different type of relaxation than we're used to. This is the type of relaxation that swims through the chaos of our mind into the deep, fundamental clarity at our basis. This clarity is always part of it, but we can only reach it through relaxation, not through effort. Awareness is something we land in when we've learned how to relax properly. There isn't much to do, just the continual discovery of deeper and deeper relaxation. But again, this is a special type of relaxation. It's wide-eyed and bright. No matter how deep our relaxation, we're still fully present and available to the details of our life. Awareness meditators experience a vast depth to their being right in the midst of their lives. But still, they're able to talk, work, drive, dance, and generally just come across as normal. The depth is hidden. The challenge that awareness practice brings is that we may have a hard time believing it's possible. It just seems so incredibly optimistic. And we all face this in the beginning, so it's good to have teachers who have years of practice of this system under their belt. Then we can take confidence in their experience while we're starting out. But soon enough, we'll know for ourselves. Also, it's subtle. Because awareness develops from the inside out, it's less obvious in the beginning. But when it starts to show, it's a big deal. Awareness practice drops us down to the basis of our being. It doesn't fight against the mind. It connects us immediately and directly with a part of our lives that is completely unconfused and unafraid. It just takes time to come to the surface. So we have to be patient. I started when I was young and I didn't know my options. I saw a poster at a health food store and I just went to some lessons, and it was frankly kind of a waste of time, so I almost quit. But I met an experienced meditator and he helped me learn a new path, and man, that saved me. I started then with mindfulness practice and I worked really hard for a decade. I went on at least a dozen retreats and I learned from the best teachers I could find. But it wasn't a good fit. I'm an artistic person and a highly distractible person and a very spontaneous person, and I really struggled in the traditional approach of building mindfulness. I gave it everything I had, and I learned a lot. I did build mindfulness, but it wasn't inspiring. And although I loved the teachings and I loved the people, I didn't love the practice. But I was in the right place at the right time, and I encountered some superb teachers of awareness meditation, and that was it for me. I knew almost immediately that I had found my path. Mindfulness probably gave me a head start, but it was the total approach of relaxation that changed my life the most. Later, when I was trained to teach, I had to teach both systems, and I found that most people expected to learn mindfulness because that's what they'd heard about. So I did it for a long, long time. But in my own practice, I emphasized awareness practice, which kept me inspired and joyful. And as a creative person with a busy schedule, awareness practice flows effortlessly in my life in ways that mindfulness just did not. And I really like that. Eventually, I changed my entire approach to teaching. About 10 years ago, I nudged my students toward awareness. The results have been clear. Almost everyone greatly prefers awareness-based meditation, and they find that it stimulates big shifts in their understanding, which is exactly exactly what it did for me. So that's my story. Now, mindfulness is genuine, authentic stuff. It's far more well known than awareness practice, but I don't think it's going to stay that way. Awareness has an advantage for people in the modern world, and I think that advantage is really going to catch on. You can learn more about all of this in my free Meditation 101, which I'll send to you if you follow the link in the description below. It's 6 juicy days of emails, and you'll have a great perspective. Meditation is a rite of passage for anyone who knows that there's something deeper to them than they've been able to discover on their own. It's an amazing adventure. And if you want to learn more about this, watch this video next.